Here we are, starting off with Tracey Jones. Tracey, thanks for coming to our open house today.
Sure.
Yeah, and so just kind of wanted to talk to you about your experiences as a veteran, and first off, how you got into contact first with Military Veterans Resource Center.
Okay, well, let's see. As a veteran, I've been retired since 2004 from the Navy. Did 20 years, just a little over 20 years in the administrative field and recruiting. Enjoyed it. I do miss it. And I got in contact with Dan because I needed some assistance. And this was the first place where they pointed me to. I made some phone calls. I got in contact with him. We kind of chatted a little bit, and then I scheduled a meeting with him to come in and have him look at my resume and to make sure things were good to go. And he gave me some pointers, some really good pointers. And I came back in with my resume, and he said it was really good. So I was very surprised. Very little changes had to be made, and he's in the process of helping me transition and as I change my careers. And that's pretty much
Yeah, so you just made the decision to retire. You just recently retired?
Well, I retired back in 2004.
Okay.
And I've always wanted to go back into the government to work, and as my chance to give back to the government. And this is the beginning of the process for me, and Dan's walking me through that process. So it's not as challenging as I thought it would be.
Okay.
There's a few bumps, but if you're patient,
Right.
like I am, then everything will work
falls
out
together.
like it's supposed to, yeah.
And I think it's really key. It's not to get discouraged too early. I know a lot of people, even myself, I'm not a veteran, but when I was going through the job search, just it can be feel overwhelming, but it really is about just sticking it out until the right thing comes along, it seems like.
Very true, very true. And I've had some calls, and sometimes I may be a good fit or may not be a good fit for that particular organization, which is okay, but it gives me the experience,
right.
Of getting back out there and going through the interview process, going through the resume, the cover letter, and again, that's where Dan came in with me and gave me a lot of good feedback. So
good.
I'm just waiting
Yes.
for the opportunity.
And when did you first come to visit Dan? Or
I'd say it was about maybe 6 weeks ago.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit longer.
And how was it like working with him? Did you guys just kind of collaborate on what you wanted to do? Did you come in with ideas and he helped point you in the right direction? I guess, can you walk us through what the process was like?
Sure.
A little more?
It's kind of a mixture of both.
Okay.
I came in and I told him, I said, okay, this is what I'm looking to do, but I'm not sure how to get there. And he says, no worries. He says, I know people everywhere. And I said, okay, well, we're not against relocating. If that's what it comes down to, we're okay with that. So we started looking outside of Ohio. And then someone pointed out to me, there's positions here in Ohio. I said, really? How and where do I find them?
Yes.
So again, I bring up Dan's name again because he's been there for me.
Yeah.
And he's a strong advocate of what he does, and it helps me to stay focused and positive.
Definitely.
And patient. Because I know that it's going to come, it's going to happen, and again, it just takes time. It just takes time.
Yeah, that's good to hear. I know just having just a person with you to kind of give you the encouragement you need is, I think, a good thing to have, especially when you're going through a tough transition like the job search.
It's very positive for me because I know trying to transition back into federal government from the beginning is challenging.
Yeah.
That in itself is challenging. So it's just a matter of patience, persistence, and sometimes it's not what you know, but who you know that can kind of get you in there. And Dan is, for me, the go-to person. So I rely heavily on Dan for a lot of this transitioning that I'm going through. So.
And what kind of work are you looking to do? And you say government work specifically. Is it you did recruiting before? Are you looking for HR now, or
a combination of both?
Okay.
Recruiting, training and development, administrative, organizational leadership, and organizational management. things of that nature where I can help someone else as they grow in their career path. I'm very passionate about that. And I think that I would be pretty good with something like that because I enjoy working with people. And it's very what's the word? Uplifting, very positive. When you see someone progress from the bottom and they climb a ladder. So
Almost kind of what you feel like Dan's doing for you here.
yes,
Definitely.
yes. So, I mean, I would love to work with Dan because of what he does and how he gives back to the community. So something of that nature.
And how did you get connected with Dan? Did you hear about us in the paper, or did someone refer you to him?
Someone actually referred me to him. I believe it was her name Michelle from Easter Seals?
Okay.
Referred me to him, and ever since then it's been a whirlwind of things. So.
Definitely. I know some veterans say that there's almost too many resources out there. It's hard to know where to go, and so it's nice, I think, that other groups can work together, see what the veteran needs, and then kind of steer them in the right direction. And we're happy that you ended up with us.
I'm ecstatic. I am so ecstatic because every time I talk to him, he always inquires about how's everything going, and I give him feedback in that sense. And I tell him if there's anything that I can do, if I need to fix something, on a resume or a letter or something, let me know. Because if I don't know, it could be detrimental to me.
Right.
And I'm trying to go in the right direction.
Yeah, and that's a great attitude to have. I really admire that. And just, I guess, lastly, do you feel like you have any, after serving as many years as you did in the Navy, any skills and experiences or just things that you find you're able to carry through from the military to your next career? I guess one of the big things is having those translatable skills, and you're finding that you're able to translate those over?
I am.
Okay.
I think once I get in that door, as the doors begin to open for me, I think that I will be able to translate a lot in transition, especially with recruiting, with customer service, training, development. Those are my biggest things that I find extremely rewarding. And with those skills, I'll be able to transition as I change my career.
And I think that's really key, because I've heard, just talking to a lot of veterans, a lot of times what you're doing isn't always going to directly translate to a civilian career. It's just maybe not work out that way, but there's so many skills that you pick up because of your military experience that can be translated to a lot of different areas. So. And
it can be a little challenging when you're when you're transitioning from military to civilian, because there are so many things, like, the military says, okay, you're a recruiter, this is your job description. Well, that same job description in the civilian sector is slightly different, but it's the same thing. You're you're performing the same duty. So that for me was a little challenging.
And how did you feel like you navigated that? Did you kind of have to sit down and think about the technical jargon and how it would translate, or on a resume, or I guess what did you do to, you feel like, overcome that barrier?
I did have to do that. I use Google a lot.
Google does everything.
Because it's challenging when you don't know. And I've had people say to me, when you're applying for a federal government job, no matter what department it is, you want to make sure your resume feeds off of those job qualifications. And sometimes if you don't know what to put in there, you can put too much, you can put too little, because in the civilian sector they want a one-page resume, and when you're applying for different departments within the federal government, I've been told it doesn't matter how many pages it is, and then some people say, no, that's too many. So you kind of have to ask for the feedback, and be willing to make the adjustments and the changes, and look at it as a positive thing.
Yeah, like you said, patience. It's not, when you probably jump in the first time with your first resume, it's probably not going to be right, but it's just kind of getting feedback and tweaking and working with other people and to help you.
very, very important, very key. Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you. That was thanks for talking with me.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for having me.
yeah.